Actually, I think they've done a pretty good job. Like he's a funny guy, and he's engaged all the time. He's kind of loud. He talks a lot, and so he's been good. He steps right in. So I think he's been done a good job, and I think Lindy's shown some bursts of some talent, and so I'd like to try to find him some more ice time somewhere along the way. So I think they both have engaged into playing and trying to be their best and put their best on the line each night.
Is that kind of like the Maritime Leo Komarov, perhaps?
Could be. He's funny. He makes me laugh. I smile sometimes when sometimes you need to smile. He's always on, and his energy's infectious, so it kind of spreads out there.
What do you think Brewer brings to the table here?
Well, 1,200 games or 1,000 games coming up. So that's an important factor. We need as much leadership going down the stretch, and he needs to speak up, be part of that, show that leadership, show some give good advice and talk to young players. When things aren't right, it's always the hardest for a young player, how I should react next and what I should do next. And so, better and experienced players are there to help them in that situation.
Moving forward, do you plan on giving some of the younger players some opportunities that maybe they wouldn't see if you were in playoff contention?
I think they're all getting opportunities right now. Every one of them are getting opportunities. They're being online. They're getting opportunities to put their best out there, and the more they play, the better they play, the more opportunities they're going to get. So it's not like they're not getting out there and getting in places where they, don't normally play. Our youngest player has been there all year long with Morgan, and but the other players are as well. Like there's things about young players like Richard Panik where I see bursts of brilliance and what he can do, and there's times when, he may turn the puck over. And so he's learning that, and that's something he has to learn. I mean, literally, he probably did the same thing in Tampa, and that's how we got him. So he's going to learn to be either make the next step or stay where he is. And if he makes the next step, he's going to be a brilliant hockey player.
His patience is important. You talked about Peter Holland as well in terms of getting these guys to that next level consistently from most game to game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what young players have to learn is the consistency part. They can put a big game in, but can they do it on a regular basis? And what do they bring on a day-to-day? And can they go outside their comfort level? And Holly was grittier, and he was engaged, and they can do that. They just have to know that that's part of their game and learn how to turn it on when it's game time. And they don't have to be, all crazy off the ice, but they can be motivated and intense on the ice, and that's learning how to be a good player.
With Panik, when you say you can be a brilliant hockey player, how big is the divide from where he is to where you think he can get to?
He can do things right now that I don't think anybody else can do. Like, he's skilled, he's fast, he's strong, he's physical. He just have sometimes he has the thought process to try to do things where he shouldn't, and it turns over the puck. Right. And right now he's being given a great opportunity to play against a lot of times the other team's best lines. And that's a pretty good thing for a young player. And he can play against them, but he can't turn the puck over against them. So he can either play there or he can play down the line. So I'm sure that he's engaged to want to play as high as possible.
How much thought has there been to mixing the top line up just with the struggles that they've had?
Which line?
The JVR, Kessel, Bozak line.
I think right now, we've experimented with that all year long. The questions are asked all year long, do we mix them up? And, that's always a possibility. But right now, I think, they have to put it on themselves, and they have a chemistry there, but they have to do it themselves. And I think right now it's better for them to put it on the line and be together and stay together. But that's not to say that I won't change them up. But there's going to be times when I will do that, and I'll move Bozy out, maybe somebody else in there. But for the last little while, I was looking for a little bit of consistency, a little bit of lines getting the same and kind of getting used to who they're playing with. And I think you see a little bit of chemistry with Holland and Booth and Lupo the last couple of games. They thought they did a much better job. And so, sometimes you just need to find who plays well together and what chemistry fits.
What can you get from the reason why you guys have struggled so much on the road of late? Like, it's 1-17. What's the difference between being on the road and at home with this group?
I don't know.
Here, as a coach, what can you do to get Phil on track as far as scoring? I mean, is it Is there anything you can do, Kessel's in, you know, in a bad spot as far as like the bounces aren't going the right way for him. Is there anything you can do as a coach to talk to him or?
There's all kinds of things. We do it, and you know, we spend time talking to him. We tell him to relax. We tell him to get intense. We show him the video. Sometimes when players, you know, he's getting points here and there on the power play in different areas, and he had a couple games ago he'd get it. But you want consistency out of your top guys in the scoring and the threat of scoring. You know, I think that there's been some effort there, and you want him just to keep pushing that and keep being showing the rest of this team that he's pushing there. And I think that's all you can really get him to do. I think a lot of times what their line does and they get in trouble is they swing away and they look to take off to go the other way, and they end up being in their zone, you know, longer where they could be playing in the other zone. So if we, you know, that's the biggest area for them, and that's, as a group, they can embrace that and say, listen, we're going to play better there, and we're going to get our chances going the other way.
Younger players are trying to prove something, learn something. Is it a different challenge to try to, maybe motivate's the wrong word, but to try to teach the older players who have contracts, the veterans on this team, and what are you guys trying to get out of them for the last?
Are you talking about, I don't get, what was the question?
Guys like the Lupulls and Phaneufs and the Kessels, guys who are professionals, what's the challenge like in coaching them in a spot like this that they're not used to, being out of contention for maybe over a dozen games?
You know, there's challenges, and every guy's a little bit different. I don't think they're all categorized together. I don't think you can categorize Lupo with Dion, or they're all different. They're all motivated and wired a little differently, and you try to embrace the team concept and being focused and being their best version of them that night and every day, and trying to keep it in a close confines. Don't get distracted. Don't try to do too much. Just try to be good at what you do, and try to put it on the line for your teammates and stay within that. But right now, at this point for this team, this is where we need to be focused on playing our best game from the beginning, trying to be consistent, trying to play the way we want to play, hard and not sloppy, and trying to put it on the line.
What kind of example did Phil set to the younger players by speaking up in defense of Dion, do you think?
You know, I think as a team, I think that's just a thing where all our players need to have each other's backs. They need to stand up for each other, and that was his version of doing that. So I applaud him for that.
We don't see him behind the locker room doors. Is he like, was that out of character for him to do that?
Well, he's not a loud guy, and he doesn't, you know, speak a lot to you guys. So I think for that was a big deal for him to do that. You know, you can look at it in a right way, wrong way, shouldn't do it, should do it. All I take out of it is that that's him sticking up for, you know, the captain and for one of his teammates.